Right now at 6, authorities in Neosho respond to a crash that lands the car through the front of a restaurant.
And we've got a bit of a chilly start today, seasonably chilly for most of us. A little warmer, well, cooler today. Windy as well. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, members of Quapaw Nation invite the community to walk for domestic violence awareness.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, October the 21st, and yesterday not too bad, bit on the breezy side though. I mean, I don't have to worry about it. Mark pointed that out too. She's like, you don't feel the wind in your hair. I'm like, no, I don't, and I don't have to worry about, trying to fix it. But not everybody is so fortunate.
I had to pump gas in like the middle of the day, which I feel like was when it was the windiest, and my hair was just a mess.
Yeah, it was definitely breezy, warm. Then we had that dry cold front push through, and temperatures began to drop overnight. In fact, we got a pretty cold start for some folks out there this morning. We're going to start with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh, where skies are clear. In fact, I stepped outside, I don't know, about 10 minutes ago. That one cloud that I saw on the drive in here, it's gone. We got clear skies. It's a beautiful start to the day, albeit a bit chilly out there. Our camera, 7th range line, looks good as well. So let's head a little further south to 20th and range. Whoa. There we go. I always love when there's a little bit of bandwidth issues there, and it turns into some kind of, I don't know, maybe a Picasso painting, but otherwise it looks good. Traffic's moving, always a plus there. All right, future track. Not much to show. Now you see the wind arrows, they're moving kind of quickly. We're going to have gusty northwest winds, not quite like yesterday, but still breezy. It'll be later this evening. See how they start to slow down? Winds begin to ease up, and they'll actually even become calm overnight. Take a look at all the blue on this map. Now I'm a fan of the color blue, except when it means it's like 20 degrees outside. But in this case, it's not that bad. These blues, we're into the upper 40s. Most of us, mid-upper 40s. Right where we should be. Sedan, Independence, low 40s, but as I've mentioned through the morning, Neodesha and Parsons about 10 degrees below normal this morning into the upper 30s. I mentioned yesterday it certainly was possible, and that's what we're seeing, and we could have a couple of communities upper 30s overnight tonight again, but not widespread 30s at this point. Again, that's why there's no frost advisories or anything. We're not looking at widespread 30s yet. All right, 47 as kids head out the door, a bit breezy. They might want that jacket, something maybe easy to change out of or put in their backpack if they need to later. 64 by lunch and recess, 67 as they head home. We're going to go low 50s by 9, mid 60s by noon, upper 60s for our highs. Some of our southern communities could get into low 70s. And again, northwest winds at about 5 to 15. Gusting occasionally to 25. It'll be a little warmer tomorrow. Then we've got some rain chances later this week. Break down those details for you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Jasper County prosecutor rules an officer-involved shooting that killed a Joplin man was justified. Gavin Newton died from injuries sustained in April when a deputy shot him during a domestic disturbance call. The prosecutor says Newton was intoxicated, refused commands to show his hands, and claimed he had a gun. When Newton charged the deputies with a knife, one deputy fired his weapon. Jasper County prosecuting attorney Teresa Kenny says, quote, the man was almost on top of the deputy when he fired his weapon. Under the circumstances, the shooting was justified. The Missouri State Highway Patrol completed its investigation in August. The officer on leave following the incident was cleared and has been back to work. Some dramatic video out of Clinton, Missouri yesterday. This is footage of a suspect fleeing a gas station yesterday morning and sending a Clinton police officer flying into his patrol car. Officers responded to the initial call around 8:45 regarding a woman asking for help. She told officers she had been assaulted and not allowed to leave. When officers approached the suspect, he refused to leave the parking lot. The video shows the moment when he reverses the car and strikes a Clinton officer, throwing him onto his patrol car. Police followed the suspect, who crashed his vehicle into a lake. He continued to run but was caught by Clinton police. A driver is rushed to the hospital following a tractor-trailer and passenger car collision in Newton County. It happened just east of Missouri 59 and US 60 yesterday morning. Neosho Fire, Newton County deputies, and Newton County Ambulance responded. The male driver of the car had to be extricated from the wreckage. He was rushed trauma to a Joplin hospital. The semi-driver was not injured. Authorities in Neosho responded to a car crash yesterday morning, this time into the front of a Brahms restaurant on Neosho Boulevard. The car struck a large refrigerator. The driver claims his foot slipped off the brake and hit the gas. No injuries were reported. The Brahms remains open for business, but diners are asked to use the south entrance. Authorities released information about a fatal ATV crash from this weekend. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reports it happened in rural Berry County at around 6 o'clock Saturday morning. According to troopers, a 24-year-old Aurora man overturned his all-terrain vehicle on Farm Road 1245 north of Cape Fair. He died at the scene. The victim's name has not been released. Now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps, as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. That's the KOM Plus TV streaming app. The Quapaw Nation invited the public to its first ever domestic violence awareness walk yesterday. The walk brought nearly 80 people out to participate. Organizers say the goal of the event is to raise awareness and stand against domestic violence.
To educate the community about domestic violence and that it is a crisis. It's a crisis in our community. It has no boundaries. It used to not have an identity. It used to be a silent topic, and now it has an identity. It is domestic violence.
The theme for this year's walk was Love Doesn't Hurt. Organizers hope to make the walk an annual event. Thieves pulled off a brazen heist at the Louvre in broad daylight. The burglars used a ladder to break an upstairs window while tourists walked nearby. They targeted the gallery where France's crown jewels were displayed. In just 7 minutes, with a circular saw, the thieves stole 9 priceless pieces, including a pearl and diamond tiara made for Napoleon III's wife. The Louvre remains closed for a second day as police investigate. President Trump had a warning for Hamas today after a weekend of violence, which threatened the fragile ceasefire in Gaza. Erica Brown is at the White House with more on that, plus what the president had to say about Ukraine's chances of victory over Russia and trade talks with China.
At the White House Monday, President Trump signed an agreement with Australia's Prime Minister on rare earths and critical minerals. During the meeting, President Trump also announced plans to visit China fairly early next year and warned of even bigger tariffs on Chinese imports if a trade agreement isn't reached soon.
China's paying 55% and a potential 155% come November 1st unless we make a deal.
And just days after his White House meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump expressed doubt on whether Ukraine could win its war with Russia.
They could still win it. I don't think they will, but they could still win it.
President Trump has called for an immediate ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, with Russia keeping most of the Ukrainian territory it currently occupies. Zelensky has repeatedly rejected that idea. Over the weekend, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas was put to the test after Israel's military launched strikes in Gaza following an attack that killed 2 Israeli soldiers. Hamas denied responsibility, but President Trump blamed them for violating the ceasefire.
They're going to be very good. They're going to behave. They're going to be nice. And if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to. They'll be eradicated.
Trump said that didn't mean U.S. boots on the ground, but that there were many countries who'd sign on to the deal who said they'd be willing to, quote, take care of the situation. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Vice President J.D. Vance is in Israel, where he's expected to meet this week with Israel's Prime Minister. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, Vice President travels to Israel to meet about regional security. Plus, a single Amazon Web Services failure creates a cascading global impact. Tech experts warn about the dangers of internet consolidation. And cool and windy conditions in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, the Vice President and Second Lady are in Israel today. The trip comes as the fragile peace deal that President Trump spearheaded appears to have survived a weekend of violence. Both sides have blamed each other for breaching the peace. The president threatened to eradicate Hamas if the group does not behave. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
Vice President J.D. Vance is the latest U.S. official to travel to Israel since the ceasefire agreement with Hamas took effect.
J.D. Vance, ואנחנו נשוחח.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told his parliament the two will meet and talk about regional security issues and political opportunities. An Israeli government spokesperson says Netanyahu also met Monday with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. The two key negotiators were likely there to discuss next steps and shore up the already fragile ceasefire. After weekend strikes briefly shattered the days-long peace, the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says more than 40 Palestinians were killed. Israel says the strikes were in retaliation for an attack that killed Israeli troops. Hamas has denied involvement.
We made a deal with Hamas that, they're going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them.
Aid trucks have resumed in Gaza following a brief pause, though this man says it's not enough. The World Food Program agrees. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, authorities received the body of another deceased hostage Monday. The search through the rubble in Gaza continues for the remains of more than a dozen more. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
The White House has not given much guidance on the vice president's trip to Israel, though an Israeli government spokesperson indicated that he could be in the region for a few days. Still to come, two rock and roll legends expand their upcoming tour as a fictional ambassador pays tribute to America's public servants. Plus cool and windy conditions, Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. San Antonio's Rainbow Crosswalk, a symbol of LGBTQ pride, is staying put for now. Governor Abbott is threatening to withhold funding from cities that don't remove political or ideological road markings, including rainbow crosswalks, to comply with federal safety rules. Austin and Houston will remove their rainbow crosswalks, but San Antonio is seeking an exception, citing public safety benefits. President Trump hosted the NCAA national champion LSU baseball team at the White House on Monday afternoon. During the visit, the Tigers presented Trump with a personalized LSU jersey, number 47. LSU coaches and players thanked the president and congressional leaders, calling the visit one of the greatest experiences of their lives. Two rock and roll legends expand their upcoming tour as a fictional ambassador pays tribute to America's public servants. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Another season of The Diplomat is now available on Netflix. Kerry Russell stars as the U.S. ambassador in London, navigating personal conflicts and geopolitics.
We get to show you little details that there's so much about government and the inner workings we have no idea about. And I love and I feel honored and proud that our show shines a light on our civil servants and some of these organizations.
The Diplomat has been renewed for a fourth season.
Hey, it's me, John Mulaney, and I've got great news. I'm going on tour.
The video is unconventional, but despite the blindfold, John Mulaney is already seeing success with his Mr. Whatever tour. 25 new dates were just added to the tour's 2026 leg. Tickets go on sale this week. And Rush is also expanding their North American tour after a rush of sold-out shows.
I cannot tell you how surprising and overwhelmed we are.
Totally blown away by the response.
The Canadian rockers took to YouTube to announce 17 new cities were added to their 50-something tour, kicking off in June. Cameras roll as cheating partners are confronted.
He's lying to us both.
Caught in the act, Unfaithful is back for season 4 with Tammy Roman as host.
These people are real. These are real relationships. They are having challenges and they are seeking my advice. Why me? Because I've had my fair share of experiences with betrayal.
The reality show returns tonight on MTV. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Looks like lots of great options. There's always so much coming out. It's kind of hard to keep up, but certainly some great things to look at. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, and our weather pretty nice to look at as well now that we're finally getting into fall-like weather across the 4 states. We got a cool and somewhat breezy day today, a little warmer tomorrow. We're going to go over those details with you. Talk about some rain chances later this week when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now, 6:20. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning. Future track through today and into tomorrow. There's not a lot to show. You'll note, though, the wind arrows still moving kind of quick. Got some gusty northwest winds out there, but by the late evening hours and overnight, those wind arrows slow down and eventually just kind of mix up out here. And that is because those winds are expected to be calm overnight tonight. And then we'll switch as we head into our Wednesday out of the southwest. Still not breezy, though. 5-10 miles an hour versus yesterday, and even today, it's still going to be a bit breezy for a while. But otherwise, a little warmer, too, thanks to the southwest winds. But we're still clear. We're still dry. Not a bad day at all. Now, Thursday, really, most day Thursday is pretty fantastic. We're going to be just a seasonably warm, low mid-70s out there. However, as we go late night Thursday, first in the late evening, early evening, late evening hours, clouds begin to gradually increase. Start going partly cloudy, eventually mostly cloudy skies. After 10 o'clock, heading overnight, we start to see some opportunities for some isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm chances out there. I'm not expecting really much of anything significant in terms of strong storms or severe storms or anything, but I will say right now, so Thursday's day 3. Remember, today is always day 1. By Thursday, we do have a level 1 out of 5 risk that's just kind of clipping. We were into Chautauqua County, Montgomery, Washington, western Nevada County out there for the storm chances late Thursday into early Friday. Now, again, it's only a level 1 out of 5 risk. It's there, but it's low. It's not very far into our area. And the overall severe threat, anything that's going to be stronger, which even then, this is for Thursday, across a broader region, it's still a level 1 out of 5, but it stretches further back to the west over toward the Oklahoma, Texas panhandles and into northwestern Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma. So that's why by the time it gets here, shouldn't be much left. Now, if it changes, obviously we'll let you know. Mother Nature likes to do whatever she wants to do, but we're not really expecting anything significant from the activity in terms of thunderstorms as we head into Thursday night, Friday, and maybe even into Saturday. As for today, clear skies. Cool start, but seasonably cool. Upper 40s. We'll go low 60s by 11 o'clock. Clear skies through the afternoon. The northwest winds, again, gusty, but not as much so as yesterday. Only pushing about 25 miles an hour, but still, especially in high-profile vehicles, do want to be cautious. We'll go into the upper 60s, though, so the majority of us below normal. Our southern communities, again, a couple of low 70s are possible, but still not a bad day at all. Clear skies through the evening, down in the low 50s by 10 o'clock tonight with no cloud cover to keep in any of that warmer air. We will be chilly again tonight, low to mid 40s, calm winds, which is good. And like this morning, again, Neodesha, Parsons, the 2 main locations, you've been in the upper 30s for a while. So could we get a couple more upper 30s tonight into tomorrow? We certainly could. But at least at this point, we're not expecting widespread 30s. Now, tomorrow, low 70s, still back into the 40s Wednesday night because, again, clear skies. But once we start seeing thunderstorm chances, even if you're dry, the clouds will trap in that warmer air. So we're going to be a little more mild Thursday night into Friday. Rain chances Friday, Saturday, keeping us cooler, mid-60s. A brief warm-up Monday, more storm chances with another wave pushing through, but that one pushes our temperatures well below average, maybe even some upper 50s next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Obesity-related cancer is on the rise worldwide among both younger and older adults. A study in the Annals of Internal Medicine looked at increasing cases of 13 types of cancers and found that obesity was primarily to blame. The rise in cases is happening among all adults ages 20 and older, with endometrial and kidney cancer being the most closely related to obesity. There's a health condition affecting 90% of adults in America that most people have never heard of. It's called cardiovascular kidney metabolic syndrome, or CKM, and it's a newly defined condition encompassing heart disease, kidney disease, diabetes, and obesity. A survey by the American Heart Association found 9 in 10 adults aren't aware of the condition. Doctors say CKM increases the risk of heart attack and stroke and is reversible with changes to diet and exercise. A new poll finds 1 in 10 parents say their child plays outside just once a week or less. A University of Michigan survey found one reason could be parental anxiety, with 40% of parents saying they get nervous when their child goes too far or climbs too high. The survey also found screen time is increasingly taking up kids' playtime. Research shows outdoor play is good for both a child's physical and mental health. A group of high schoolers who are blind are getting a chance to play baseball and perfect their skills. This clinic offers students a unique opportunity to play the game they love. Vanessa Murdoch has their story.
You want this elbow should be this high as you throw the ball.
Throwing, hitting, and running bases. The United States Blind Baseball Association introduced the basics for students at New York Institute for Special Education in the Bronx. The adapted game is 100% audible, says USBBA President and CEO Ed Plumacher.
Now in our game, you hear the sound.
The jingle essential in hitting and catching. Clapping and voice cues come into play for throwing and running. Required equipment, a blindfold.
Everybody have to wear this because this game is all about listening.
Senior Edwin Vidal says exposure to a new sport is fun. The best part so far?
Probably the running because it's the easiest.
It's easy.
Yeah, the rest of the skills are like very, very hard.
The accuracy comes as no surprise to adaptive phys ed teacher Karina Cam.
Well, we train really hard with throwing throughout the school year just in adaptive PE class.
And sports have been a big part of the curriculum since the school opened in 1831.
The U.S. Blind Baseball Association is also hoping to find some new recruits with raw talent.
We are launching a youth initiative program in New York City starting next spring. We're in Central Park.
The goal, grow the sport and develop a larger pool of athletes to represent the U.S. at international competition. Edwin says he's up for the challenge. He can handle anything a seeing person can.
Just because we're blind doesn't mean we're less capable.
Oh, nice!
Vanessa Murdoch, CBS News, New York.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, zoning restrictions block Good Neighbor project from buying a Miami church building.
And we've got a chilly start to the day out there. Clear skies and a bit breezy again. We'll go over your forecast coming up.
Plus, Barton County voters will soon weigh in on a proposed use tax.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's currently 6:32. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warder. It's Tuesday, October the 21st. I leaned forward on the desk and I think I just threw out my back. Don't get older. I'm not even that old, but all I did was lean forward, and boy, that was painful. I did not enjoy that at all.
What scares me is there's only 15 years, I believe, between us, which now I'm worried that in 15 years I'll be throwing out my back.
Just doing a simple task, that's all I did. But it might also just be the weather changing too, because I mean we needed to get to fall. We got to fall weather, but boy, the changes and everything, man, can mess with folks. And
I mean, we've both been sniffling up a storm in here.
I cannot do it. I don't like it. That's the main thing. I guess that's really the main thing I don't like about the cold. That and it's harder to get warm. For me, it's harder to get warm. No matter how many layers I put on, I cannot stay warm. Now, in the summertime, I don't run around without clothes to cool off, but I can go into an air-conditioned building and I cool off quickly. That's why I'm like, it doesn't take me very long to, cool back off inside, so. But in the wintertime, boy, it takes a minute to heat up. I've got to be on fire to warm back up almost. But thankfully, it's not wintertime yet. But it is a little chilly this morning compared to where we have been. Very fall-like. We're going to start with our live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. And it's looking pretty good. Skies are clear. As I mentioned, it's a bit on the chilly side out there. And our camera at 7th in Rangeline looking good as well. MoDOT camera 20th in Rangeline looks good too. I think it's actually frozen. I'll have to go take a look at that. But it was looking pretty good. Things aren't that bad, really. It's not a bad start to the day. Future track, not bad either. You see the wind arrows, they're moving kind of quickly by noon, and that is because it's going to be breezy. Not as windy as yesterday, but still breezy out there. And then by the late evening hours, see how they start to slow down? Because the winds are going to start easing up, and then overnight we've actually got calm winds. And look at these temperatures. We have got just about all of us, in fact nearly all of us really, into the upper 40s, right about where we should be. Now we got some low 40s, Sedan, Independence, Newada, and then Parsons and Neodesha, you've been in the upper 30s for most of the morning, so you're upwards of almost 10 degrees below normal to start the day. But we're not expecting widespread 30s. You can see it's not really the case. That's why there's not any frost advisories or anything. But some of us definitely a chilly start. Upper 40s as kids head out the door this morning. Again, a bit breezy. Low 60s. We got about 64 by lunch and recess, 67 as they head home this afternoon. We'll go low 50s by 9, mid 60s by noon. Our highs today, the majority of us only into the upper 60s. Could get a couple of low 70s in our southern counties, but the majority of us upper 60s today. And again, a bit breezy. Northwest winds 5 to 15, occasionally gusting upwards of 25. Now the winds ease up tonight and into tomorrow. They'll also switch out of the southwest, which means warmer weather is on the way. We'll go over those details, plus some rain chances later this week here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. A community organization in Miami, Oklahoma hopes to open a warming center and cooling center, but it seems they've hit a roadblock. The Good Neighbor Project was seeking a new piece of property to help with the homeless community. Reporter Ty Parks has more from Miami.
Neighbor Project is an organization that seeks to give back in the Miami area. They started helping people shortly before the pandemic, and after the virus faded back, they focus on the street citizens of Miami.
And there's a lot of stigma that comes with somebody that's, on the streets. They call them drug addicts, alcoholics, all this other stuff. And though some true in some cases, a lot of people, they just fell and there was nobody there to pick them up.
Aldridge says that they know if they had a building they could use as a home base.
We can get them their benefits, we can get them, off the treatment, we can do all those things if we just had a permanent facility. So this facility hunt's been going on for, like I said, about 5 years. We've been close a couple times, and we really rely on God to direct us.
Vacant church on the corner of West Central and East Street Southwest is perfect.
But the church has been there for a lot of years. So the only different thing that we're doing from a normal church, we're going to be open more than just Sunday. We're still going to have services in the church. We've got a couple pastors on our staff that's willing to come in and do service with them. And then our kitchen will be open, like I said, 3 times a day.
Until the city zoning board told them the church is not zoned correctly, GMP can take the matter to the zoning board for a change. Good Neighbor will look at their options to continue their mission.
I don't want to see people, not in our country. We shouldn't have people going hungry in our country. And it's frustrating that it's happening.
In Miami, Oklahoma, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The city of Miami says it opens its Civic Center and the downtown attraction building during weather events. Voters in Barton County, Missouri will decide whether to approve a use tax. If they vote to pass it, the current tax rate would not go up, but it would extend the tax to online and out-of-county purchases. KOAM's Blake Goley explains how it works.
When people buy items in Barton County, they pay a local sales tax. That money helps fund the county's ambulance district, covering expenses like equipment, vehicles, and training. But when someone orders the same item online or buys it in another county, that tax isn't collected locally. The Barton County EMS director explains, as more purchasing shifts online, our local sales tax revenue has declined. Approving this use tax will help protect essential funding for the ambulance district, while keeping tax rates fair and consistent no matter where goods are purchased. The proposed use tax would change that by applying the same tax rate to out-of-area purchases. The tax rate would match what residents already pay on local sales. If the rate ever changes in the future, the use tax would automatically change to match. County officials say this type of tax is common in other parts of Missouri and helps keep local services funded as more shopping moves online. The question will be on the November 4th ballot. A yes vote allows the ambulance district to collect the use tax, while a no vote keeps the current system in place. In Barton County, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
For more information on the November 4th election, you can visit our website at koamnewsnow.com/elections. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, Workers could pay 6 to 7% more for employer health plans next year. Plus, how one designer is turning thrift finds into runway fashion. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, Amazon Web Services is back operational after a massive outage earlier Monday rippled across thousands of internet sites around the world. Users yesterday had reported problems with popular platforms like Roblox, Venmo, and Snapchat, while multiple airlines and Amtrak said the outage caused some minor delays and brief technical issues on their ends. AWS says the outage was caused by a, quote, underlying internal subsystem responsible for monitoring the health of their network load balancers. Workers could pay 6 to 7% more for their employer-sponsored health plans next year, according to a survey from consulting firm Mercer. The study found several reasons for the jump, including costly treatments like GLP-1 weight loss drugs, plus an aging population that uses more medical services. The Kaiser Family Foundation estimates that more than 164 million Americans get their insurance coverage through an employer. And a family holiday treat is getting a new look this year to mark its 40th anniversary. This year, those iconic Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes will feature special Santa Claus packaging. The company is also offering fans a chance to win their favorite Little Debbie Christmas tree cake flavor in their 40 days of giveaways contest. Entry forms can be found on the Little Debbie website. A terrifying midair scare this weekend when a lithium-ion battery caught fire on a flight from China to South Korea. Video shows the crew rushing to put out the flames. Incidents like this keep happening, even though airlines and airports are cracking down. The airline says the lithium battery stored in the passenger's bag, quote, spontaneously caught fire, forcing the Airbus A321 to make an emergency landing in Shanghai. The FAA reports at least 62 incidents involving lithium batteries, leading to smoke, fire, or extreme heat on flights in the first 9 months of this year. There's a designer shaking up the world of fashion, taking clothes from thrift stores around the country and turning them into high-end runway-ready designs. It's the ultimate example of upcycling as more people grow conscious of textile waste and the rising cost of clothing. Jared Hill has more.
In the high-priced world of high fashion, Evan Hirsch is designing haute couture from the bargain bin.
It used to be a Halloween costume.
This ball gown is one of nearly 24 upcycled garments the designer made for Goodwill's first ever New York Fashion Week runway show.
This originally was like a short lace dress, and I completely added this new skirt.
It's a partnership that started with a TikTok.
I found a dress at the thrift store, added over 2,000 beads by hand, and returned it straight back to the rack. I had never worked with garments that were pre-loved.
Now, reimagining thrifted clothing has become a bit of a calling. A dress could be upcycled into something that would be good for like a prom.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like so many people want a custom one-of-a-kind dress for their special day, and I think this is a great way to do it at a better price point and also in a really eco-friendly way.
With the rise in cheap fast fashion, textile waste has ballooned to 92 million tons a year. But James Reinhart, CEO and founder of online consignment retailer ThredUp, says he's starting to see a shift.
I think people are reacting to the sort of proliferation of products and product pollution in apparel and looking for a different way to consume.
Lawmakers are also looking to tackle textile waste. In 2024, California passed the nation's first law requiring clothing producers fund and participate in the collection, repair, and recycling of their products. Hirsch is hoping his story can inspire.
What would you recommend for someone who's in a store looking at garments and maybe can't yet see the second life?
I would just think about what you want to wear. Like, I would start backwards and think about something that you would dream to own.
Threading a way to a more sustainable future. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Hirsch's designs featured in the Goodwill Fashion Show are being auctioned off on shopgoodwill.com. Well, that's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a chilly start, but a seasonably chilly start for most of us out there. However, we're still breezy, and we're actually going to be a little below normal today, a little unusual, and we'll go over that, plus some rain chances that we're looking at later this week when the KOAM Morning News returns. All right, well, just like Amazon, we had another little technical glitch with the computer and the systems, we used to do these birthdays and anniversaries. We had a great list yesterday. I know we're going to have a great list tomorrow. We'll include whatever birthdays and anniversaries we had for today. So tomorrow, be prepared to celebrate big time. And I know that it is frustrating that this comes up. Believe me, it's as frustrating to us as it is to you folks at home. But we will have a complete list of today and tomorrow's birthdays and anniversaries for tomorrow. And in the meantime, still don't hesitate to send them in. The birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Just ensure you meet the deadline there you see on the bottom of your screen. Let us know when that celebration is, and we will get that in there for you. So again, it's just one of those things, just like Amazon. All right, it's Amazon, and they can still have a technical failure, okay? And they took out how many sites with that little down outage yesterday? It was a lot. So just bear with us. We do apologize, but we'll get this all straightened out, get it back working and doing the right thing for us as we head into tomorrow. Now, on to the weather side of things. It's a great day. Maybe we just need to take this thing outside. Maybe it needs some fresh air. It's in the building all the time. They run all the time. Maybe a computer needs to go outside. Actually, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't put your computers outside. They do not want that kind of fresh air. Trust me, it's not good for them. All right, but we are going to have a beautiful day. Still a bit breezy. See how those wind arrows are still moving pretty quickly, even through 5 o'clock. Still some gusty northwest winds. But as we go late evening and overnight, those wind arrows begin to slow down, and then we reach a point where our winds are calm. That's why they're kind of just pointing wherever, because the wind arrows it doesn't know what to do when the winds are calm. It just draws arrows. But calm winds overnight, and then they're going to switch out of the southwest as we head into Wednesday. But we're otherwise still dry, still clear skies. Will be just a smidge warmer, but still pretty seasonable, close to normal as we get through Wednesday. We're going to be pretty seasonable on Thursday as well. But late Thursday is when we start to see some changes. Majority of the day Thursday is pretty good. We should have clear skies. And then by the late afternoon into the evening hours, clouds will gradually begin to increase. And as we go overnight Thursday from 10 o'clock and beyond, isolated to widely scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. Now, at this point, we're not looking at anything significant or widespread for any strong or severe storms. Really, on Thursday night into Friday, there's a level 1 out of 5 risk that I'll show you in a moment. It does clip parts of our area, but it stretches well across northern Oklahoma, back toward the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle. But even going that far out, it's still just a level 1 out of 5 risk. So by the time it gets here, we should be kind of on the dying end of any stronger storms as we go overnight Thursday again into Friday. So here's what it looks like. Again, today, tomorrow, no issues. But for Thursday, there's that level 1 out of 5 risk. Again, Chautauqua, parts of Montgomery, Washington, the Nevada counties, and then that spreads back to the west across northern Oklahoma. And again, across that whole region, it's still at this point just a level 1 out of 5. So nothing major expected. If that changes, obviously we'll let you know. But we're just not looking at the right ingredients for strong or severe storms, and we're not looking necessarily at the right ingredients for a lot of thunderstorms, period. We're looking more so at the opportunity just for some rain as we head into the Friday and Saturday. And of course, we do need more rain across the area. And that's really about all we're looking at out there. All right, clear skies expected through the morning. We got clear skies now. Upper 40s by 8 o'clock this morning. We'll make about the low 60s as we head toward 11 a.m. So today, a below normal, but otherwise pretty pleasant day. We're going to have another look at your forecast plus your wake up recap in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., actor and director Ben Stiller honors his legendary parents in Stiller Nothing is lost. The documentary starts streaming on Apple TV Plus Friday, and the film became more than just a tribute. That and more at 7 a.m.
This is your Wake Up recap for October 21st, your top stories to start your day. A driver crashed into the front of Brahms on Neosho Boulevard yesterday morning, heading a large refrigerator inside. The driver said his foot slipped off the brake. No injuries were reported, and Brahms remains open, but diners are asked to use the south entrance. That's a check of today's Wake Up recap.
And for your forecast today, below normal temperatures, not by a lot, but not where we should be. Upper 60s, could still get a couple of low 70s in our southern counties, and still a bit breezy, not so much as yesterday, but northwest winds gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. Into the evening we go, clear skies out there, back to the low 50s by 10, and of course without any clouds. We will be chilly again tonight, low 40s, and we could get a couple of upper 30s like we've seen this morning in Neodesha and Parsons. Winds are expected to be calm. Southwest winds tomorrow, but 5 to 10. All right, looking at super breezy conditions tomorrow at this point. Warming up a bit, low 70s. Then we've got from late Thursday, say after 10 o'clock through Friday and maybe into Saturday, some scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms. At this time, not expecting anything significant. Of course, if that changes, we'll let you know. Brief warm up by Monday, and then well below normal for next week going into Halloween.
Amazing. I'm excited to bring out my Halloween sweaters and be able to wear them.
Yeah, I guess I'm ready to.
Okay, well, thanks, Chris. Coming up today at noon, we're making fudge cheesecake bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, Jill Schlesinger shares advice to make sure your information is best protected if data breaches happen again.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Charlene Patton with the Kansas Soybean Commission joins us today in the studio.
Plus, President Trump calls Colombia's president a lunatic and cuts off aid to that country. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.